it was a nightmare. Like each day felt worse than the last. And I was suicidal when my mom got sick. Fully planned on killing myself, was like, I'm done. I've had, at this point, at least 4 major traumas in my life, like periods. And I'm 21 at this time. I'm not old. Like I wasn't a kid like you were, but I was still really young. And like, again, I had always kept this positive attitude of how lucky we were and whatever. And then God, the universe, whatever, is like, yeah, go fuck yourself. Your mom's gonna die. So that's where I was at. And I started dating someone that I went to school with. And like right after we graduated, and I ended up dating him for a few years. And if I had not been dating him, like I was fully checked out and was like, the second my mom dies, I'm not going to ever make her live in a world where I don't exist. I'm done. No skin off my nose. Like I've done my best. And then I started dating him. So I ended up, sticking it out and feeling like I had something to live for. But then obviously when that relationship ended, the cycle kind of continued. But yeah, my grieving process, it wasn't even a process, if you could call it that. Like, and I went to therapy. I'm on medication. I did all these things. But looking back, I had to forgive that girl in a big way. Like all the source of my problems, like I could speak to this person that hurt me and that person that hurt me in this circumstance and that one. But beyond my mom dying, I was the source of my problems. I was the source of my grief. I was the source of why things were not working out for me. And a lot of that was like romantic relationships and otherwise. And finally, when I was able to tap into that, that's literally been the last 3 years that like I really drilled down and did the work to get to where I am right now, which is so happy, thriving, couldn't be better. Like it took me such a long time and I had no grace in doing it. And mind you, it's like my sister, but my sister's also very normal and has normal brain chemistry and didn't go through some of the same experiences that I did. So she went through it in a way that made it look really easy. And like, I'm like, well, we have the same mom. Like, why is it so much harder for me and whatever? But everyone's different. You have different relationships, whatever. But I had other friends that had parents die and people who are close to them that made it look easy. And then everything felt really difficult for me. But again, I forgive her because I did go through a lot, but I made things difficult for me for a really, really long time.
So what was it that made that switch or realization? Because you said this was of the last 3 years that you really feel like you made the switch.
Mm-hmm.
So was it a specific moment or a rock bottom, or what was it that kind of really shifted you?
So I think that it was a lot of bad tasting medicine that the patient needed. And I think that I felt like I had gotten to a point in my life that I had reached that plane where I was like, oh, I'm healed and things are good and whatever, but it was circumstantial. And then when COVID happened and I felt very isolated, I was single during the time. I was in a weird workplace in my life, like all these other things that I had placed my worth and self-value in dissipated. And again, I don't mean to say why me, because everyone had a hard time during COVID. A lot of people died during COVID. I totally get that. But it was very isolating. And I'm mentally ill. I had something I'll deal with for the rest of my life. I'm lucky that it's been very managed and I have resources. But at the time, wasn't in therapy. I was off my medication, just all these different things. And it pushed me into this really dark phase of my life that was really sink or swim in a way that I hadn't experienced since my mom died. And so I basically really sat with it and was like, do you want to be happy and live your best life, or do you want to tap out? Because that's where you're at. Either you off yourself or you go forward from this place and you don't come back here and you are reborn into like this new version of you. So those are your choices. Yes, what happened is awful. What happened to your mother is fucking awful. What happened to you here, and here, that was fucking awful. That is not in your control. What is in your control is how you react to it and how much longer do you want the narrative and your entire personality to be the death of your mom? Because I realized I would be like, hi, my name is Dayna. My mom's dead. Not, hi, my name's Dayna. I love sharks. I have these interests. I just started doing tennis. I like stand-up comedy. I love my friends. I love Olive Garden. I love this, that, and the other. Like I just realized I had hid behind her dying in such a big way that didn't allow space for anything positive, anything real, anything past her. Because I think now looking back, I didn't want to get past her because then she's really dead. And that all really happened. And so it was just myself getting in my own way, as my therapist would say.